Hello, Alchemist. I just wanted to jump on here and share something with you, what I've been working on and what's coming. Oh my God, this past month, but particularly the past couple of weeks, when I've been working with people on uncovering, unpacking their dysfunctional formation pattern, which is kind of a strange name for it. I don't see it as dysfunctional. I see it as protective. It's an adaptive strategy that you picked up as a child to get your needs met, and it worked. Okay. So this dysfunctional pattern, though, is not conscious, and it will always lead you to the same result. So, meaning, whatever failed creation, whatever it is you go for and you don't get it, it's because this dysfunctional pattern is behind it. Again, its job is to keep you safe, make you feel like you belong or are loved and you fit in with your tribe. So there's no judgment at that level. The unconscious just sees what works and then it becomes automated. Okay. That's what the unconscious does, is it notes what you've done that helped you survive and prompts you to try that again every time you encounter a similar situation. And so then that's how the tracks get laid down so that you keep repeating it over and over again until it becomes a habit. Kind of like at first you don't know how to ride a bike, and then you have to consciously think about it and decide that this is all the pieces that I have to do to get on this bike. And then after a while, you don't think about it anymore. And that's what it feels like to be stuck inside the dysfunctional formation pattern. It's just it's so part of you that you just automatically go into it. And then what happens is when things don't turn out, you're looking for why that is. And the tendency in all cases, to larger and smaller degree, people will blame external circumstances, other people, the conditions in the world, even, as to why they cannot create what they would love to experience, what they tell themselves that they want. So there's a tendency to look outside. Okay, well, what's causing this? Why can't we have what we want? It's because this person said no. It's because I didn't have enough money. It's because the world isn't set up to provide that for me. It's because the political situation, I don't know, whatever, the weather, it could be anything, where we decide that we can't have what we want because it's out of our control. And that is not the case. Once you understand and are clear about what the pattern is, it is the case when it's unconscious. It just feels like you don't have any power, you don't have any control over the circumstances. And so as I've been diving in deeper and deeper with people and uncovering their dysfunctional formation, what I'm also aware of is that we pick people and circumstances that are a perfect fit, or I call it the perfect storm of unmet needs. And so you'll have your pattern that you play out, and then they're going to have their pattern that they play out with you. And so when I was looking at this recently, I was just thinking about all my relationships in the past and how I played out my pattern, which is you're not allowed to ask for support or help. Okay, you got to figure it out yourself. And so in every relationship, any major relationship I've had, that's been the case, where I get really uncomfortable asking for support or help, or I feel like I have to reciprocate in kind in some way, or it's just I just don't even expect that I'm going to be supported in the way that I truly deeply want. I don't want to be disappointed, but the problem is I am often disappointed. And so what happens then is I'd rather not ask so as to not be disappointed, which then reinforces the pattern of, see, I'm not supported. So it's just like so crazy making. And so I a great metaphor for this is it's like you put your boat into the river, right? And you start going towards what it is that you would love to create or experience. And it's not a big risk at first, but if it's something that you really, really, really want, then what happens is you're going to hit all your resistances along the way to having it. Things are going to happen in your life that feel like, again, it's out of your control, but will stop you, and you'll say, see, I can't have what I want because blah 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 blah. Okay, like say you want to invest in a program, you want to invest in some coaching, you want to invest something for yourself, and then all of a sudden then some bill comes up out of the blue that you weren't expecting, and all the money goes to that. Or somebody needs your help, and then you put your needs on the back burner. It could just be so many different things. But what's interesting is whatever the resistance is, it's going to take you off your focus of your end result. The other thing that's really interesting about this pattern that I've noticed is that when you decide that you're going to change it up, and you're consciously choosing that, then what's going to also happen is as you get closer and you start, like say in my case, receiving more support, is like, oh, this feels really great and it's uncomfortable. Okay. So you just have to just stay focused and remain very very committed to what your end result or desire is. Now, what's interesting too is that the closer you get to having what it is that you want, the more resistance it gets stronger, that tension gets stronger and stronger. And it can feel like you're on the river and then all of a sudden you hit the rapids, man. It's really intense. Like the chatter in your head gets the strongest, all the reasons why you can't have what you want, it just gets louder. And the tendency is for people to just want to pull their boat out and get to safe ground again. All right. Or just to hang out and see how things go, see if it's okay. I mean, we get distracted. We get off course somehow, somewhere along the line, but usually right before we achieve our goal or intention, we have the biggest resistance to face. And so what's important to know at this stage is that we don't want to refer back to our past or what we've already experienced, what we already know works for us to get to our destination here. So instead, it's so important that you get out of that problem-solving orientation, that tendency to want to figure things out, and to go direct to your intuition, to that superconscious self that we've talked about so often in this work, is the part of us that actually is like the river guide, the part of us that knows what's coming up downstream, and is also the part of us that knows where the rocks are, where the resistance is, because we put it there. Right? I know, crazy. So when we access that part of ourselves, what is the intuitive part of ourself? And we put a question to it that, okay, so how do I get through this stage? What is my next obvious action? And receive some information either in the form of an image or symbol or something. We want to kind of bypass that tendency to want to be given direct information. Most of us don't get that kind of guidance from our intuition. It's very subtle. It can come as a voice whispering in your ear, but more often than not, it's a feeling, it's a felt sense. And it's I often will just ask, just give me a symbol for my next obvious action, and then I might see a picture. I might hear a song, or get nudged to take some action. And it doesn't have to make sense. In fact, oftentimes when it doesn't make sense, it's probably the best advice, because it's bypassing that rational mind of ours that says you should do this based on your past, or you should do this because this is what everybody else does. This is, yada, yada, yada. So ask your intuition. Okay, what is it? How do I get downstream? How do I release the resistance to this? And then follow it. Within the next 24, 48 hours, you want to make sure that you take action on the information that you received. And you will find that that's what gets you to where you want to go. You just take the next obvious action and the next action until you get there. And that's what it's like. I don't know if you've ever been on a river in a boat like that, but it can be kind of scary. It can be, unless you can trust that guide, like the river guide, who's been down this path before, knows what's up ahead, and can steer you in the right direction around all of the rocks, as it were. And you know what? That's what makes life exciting. Not the easy, the lazy river. I mean, that's fun too. But in a different way, when you just want to take it easy, you don't want to go down the Class 5 rapids. So there's a time and a place for that. But when you're really going for something that you've never experienced before, that's really exciting, that's really outside of your comfort zone, it's going to feel a little scary. It's going to feel a little like, am I going to make it? Yes, just relax and enjoy the ride. All right, thanks for listening. You have any questions, please feel free to ask them, and I will be happy to answer your questions. Also, if you haven't had a chance to do the dysfunctional formation pattern process with me, I highly encourage you to reach out and we can set that up, because it is life-changing.